Welcome already to another edition of WCW 2006 here in TEW 2020, but of course this is not actually WCW, as we're actually booking Impact, as this is going to be the first show of Paul Levesque as the booker after he was not re-signed by the WWE because of the whole cheating on Stephanie thing with Lita, who ended up cheating on him with Kid Cash. What a lovely will we weave here in pro wrestling. But before we get to that, a little bit of a reminder. Year in Awards voting is continuing. Next up is Best Face of the Year, so we got AJ Styles. Of course, was one of the top faces on Revolution all year and eventually became world champion. Brother Ray, who, was a big brawling babyface all year, fighting with the Chosen Few alongside the Truth and others. The Hardys, who, of course, debuted as a tag team and won the tag titles and feuded with Nikayo and America's Most Wanted for the second half of the year. Paul London, who was a, brave, upper mid-card, top of the card babyface on Revolution, fighting with, Kidman, Lance Storm, Mike Awesome, others, the other heels, Monty Brown, Rob Van Dam, facing out with him after he turned heel, all that fun stuff. And of course, there's this guy who was the ace of the women's division. So, once this is up, you'll be able to vote on that. Now, moving on to Genesis itself. They had, if you guys remember, I started them up in the summer of last year with Hulk Hogan in charge. They had a TV show, but they quickly lost it, so they've just been doing pay-per-views. And now it's time for them to have their first show of 2006 live on pay-per-view from I think it's somewhere in Florida, as is tradition for this version of Impact in real life and this version as well. So let's get rolling with the show. The show starts out with, of course, Ace of the Spades hitting the mic, hitting the, announcing, as a huge pop as Paul Levesque comes out to the top of the ramp to a big pop in the beautiful John H. Lewis Gymnasium in Atlanta, Georgia, with a crowd of 6,000 people on hand. He, comes down to the mat. He goes down the ramp to the ring, and slides in the ring. So you're getting a huge mixed reaction from the crowd, as you'd expect. As he is a heel, and he is Levesque, but he's also a giant star here in Impact. And he takes the mic and says, "I've been around this business long enough to know what it takes to make an impact, to leave a lasting legacy. And while some companies couldn't handle my, let's say, ambition, Impact Wrestling has the vision to recognize the asset they have in me. So welcome to the dawning of a new era of professional wrestling. Welcome to the age of Impact Wrestling, and more importantly, welcome to my world." And Levesque continues, "You may have known me by different names, accolades, or titles, but forget all that. Here in Impact Wrestling, I am the man who will reshape the company in my image. I am the man who will take this company to heights it's never seen. I am the architect of a new era. Sure, Hogan opened the doors, but I'm the one who's going to break down walls. I'm here to dominate, to conquer, and to prove that no matter where I go, I am the pinnacle of this industry." Some might say other companies don't want me because of my ego, but let's call it what it is. They didn't want competition at the top. They feared having someone around who could outshine their brightest stars. But here in Impact, I am the brightest star. I am the one who will carry this company on my back and lead it to true glory. Tonight, Genesis isn't just the name of a pay-per-view. It's symbolic. It's a genesis of my reign here at Impact Wrestling. A new chapter, not just for me, but for all of professional wrestling. You're either with me or in my way, and trust me, you don't want to be in my way. So the locker room, the executives, to the fans, and to the entire wrestling world, brace yourselves. You're about to witness the rise of a true master of this game, a man who will redefine what it means to be a champion. Gets the response he's going to get. And then, now let's take a good look at what we've got here at Impact Wrestling. You got your has-beens, legends in their own right, know about legends whose times have passed. Talked about the likes of Hogan, Lex Luger, and others. These guys would lay the groundwork, sure, with a new era. It's time for the new legends to rise, such as myself. And then you have the Never Wars. The guys who hang around on fringes, always reaching for the brass ring. They're not able to quite grasp because of their lack of ability and talent. They're hanger-ons, leeches on this business. Bagwell, Beefcake, Shiver. Let's be honest. You're not on the level needed to push this company to the future. But this company does have a future. There are second-generation stars like David Flair. You have great high flyers like Jason Vex, the current Impact X champion, the man who's proven his worth every time he gets in the ring. You've got powerhouses like Apollo with the potential to dominate, young men with minds of the business like Christopher Nowinski, and other young talents like Jay Lethal. All these men have what it takes if they're given the opportunity in this business. And if they can reach out and take it like I did. They represent the future of Impact Wrestling. They're the ones who are kept to new heights. They want to write the next chapters of wrestling history. I plan to be right there with them, leading the charge, showing them how it's done. So let's face it, to be the best, you gotta learn to be the best. And the best is standing right damn here. And then cue the whatever ripoff we can do of American Made, as Hulk Hogan comes down to the top of the ramp, along with the rest of the Hulkamaniacs, aka his babyface stable, which is Marcus Militek, the muscular former bodybuilder regen that was in our death for a while, Amazing Red, Shiver, aka Glacier, and Jesus Castillo Jr. Yep, that's the stable. I don't know, that's the game. And Vic says, well, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Hogan, I was just talking about the past future of this company. Why don't you come on down here and tell people which one you think you belong to? And Hogan, takes Mike and says, listen here, brother. I've heard everything you have to say. You don't know about this business. But you forget how you threw it all away over a woman. And now you're standing in my ring, Impact Wrestling, all alone, thinking you can run the show. You see, Levesque, Impact Wrestling is about one man thinking he's better than this business. It's about talent, heart, and respect, brother. Something you may have argued about a long time ago. And, Levesque takes me back and fires back. Hogan, you're the one talking about respect and heart. Let me give you a little inside scoop, brother. Back when McMahon and I were on speaking terms, he told me he'd die before letting you back in the Federation and filling it full of his poison again. And look, the other guys may have another reason not to have me, but there's a reason Bischoff has left you in the dirt for so long. And look where you are now. You're in Impact Wrestling, trying to literally live your glory days, pushing everyone down once again. You're surrounding yourself with your Hulkamaniacs, but understanding the fact that Impact Wrestling needs a true leader. I'm the only man fit for the job. Where the rings come to level it's never seen before, and whether or not you're looking at the new face of Impact Wrestling. And Hogan fires back, new face? You made it a big shot elsewhere, brother, but here you gotta earn your stripes. As long as I'm here, I'm not gonna let Impact Wrestling becomes your personal playground. This is about giving the fans what they want. Real wrestling, real passion, real competition, not some ego-driven power trip. Yes, the blogs and podcasts of the time will have something to say about that. And then Hogan continues, think you're going to walk over everyone here, you got nothing coming. These men behind me, they represent what Impact Wrestling is all about. We're not going to let you or anyone else change that. And, Levesque says, your words, Hogan, just like you, are past your prime. It's about reliving the past, it's about the future. Whether you're with me or against me, I'm going to make an impact. And, Hogan says, something, Levesque, I've been around this block more times than I can count, brother. It's a fight you want, it's a fight you get. But not just any fight, we're talking about a tag team match right here tonight at Genesis. And I've got just the man to stand by my side. This man right here, Marcus Militek. Look at him, brother. He's got arms almost as big as a python's seer. My future's so bright. He's going to be the true next generation of Impact Wrestling. He's a heart of a lion and the strength of a bear. Together, we're going to show you what the real champions are made of. Let's take this little, pose. And, Levesque says, Hogan, you can never see Navies with a bluster. Tag match, Militek against me. You might be surprised, Hogan, at who I can find as a partner. There are plenty of guys in that locker room who know the value of aligning with the next generation of leadership in this company. And, Hogan says, surprise me, bring whoever you want, doesn't matter who you find, because at the end of the day, when you step in the ring, Hulk Hogan and Marcus Militek, you're going to realize you bit off a little more than you can chew. So what you're going to do, brother, when Hulkamania and the next generation runs wild on you. And Levesque says, Hogan, you can hype your partner and use all the catchphrases you want. But remember, when the bell rings, it's not about the past, but who can get the job done in the ring. I'm sure you have a partner who knows exactly how to do that. So there you go. So this gets a 74. So this first part, and large piece skill. Unfortunately, this needs better announcing, low locker room morale, and low experience of the announcers. And then the part where Hogan came out got an 84 because it's Hulk Hogan, so that's a little better. And then we go to our opening match. And yeah, obviously you guys weren't rated. It was just Levesque and Hogan. As we move forward to our opening match here on Genesis, which is a singles match as the debuting Tony Kozina, who used to be part of the WCW's Cruiserweight roster, makes his debut against the debuting young Nick Nemeth. And it's a back and forth match, but eventually Tony Kozina gets the win with the Sky Twister after a little bit over 11 minutes. Nick Nemeth looks good as he enters over him as a young rising star. He gets a 59, Nemeth gets a 15. Their gimmicks got very good, and Kozina came out of the match looking good. So solid stuff, 44. And Kozina celebrates, which gets a 50. And I'm going to double check that Pringle is not doing any more road agency. All right, there we go. just had to double check something here. So so we come back to the ring, and El Corredor and Mike Sampson basically put over the fact there's a mini tournament to determine new Impact Tag Team Champions after the prior champions basically, retired, I believe. I'll have to double check that afterwards, but I think that's what happened is like the original Giants retired. One of them, Ron Reese, retired, so the titles were left vacant, and then they never put up new titles yet. I'll double check in the title history, but I think that's what happened. Anyway, they're talking about how they're going to dominate and show how they're the dominant tag team here at Impact Wrestling. When the familiar music hits, and out comes Kronik, aka Brian Adams and Brian Clark. They come out. They both have Brad's gimmick. It gets a great and very good for them, and this gets a 32 as these guys are over. Won't use their overness, but we'll see how the match goes as the first match of the basically determine the finals for the Impact Tag Team titles starts up, and it is oh shit, I forgot to take Pringle off this. The one match I didn't check. Shit. Well, so here, Condor and Mike Simpson actually have great chemistry. We'll team together. It's actually pretty interesting that what's we're looking for here, that the AI figured that out, maybe by accident. Yeah, this is a total squash. Like Samson and El Corredor get a little bit of offense in, but this is just a complete and total squash for Kronik as they win. They're the baby faces here, just mainly because they're the big stars, and they need some baby face tag teams. So there you go. This gets a 20 because we'll look at them. Adam gets a 48, 46. Clark gets a 48. El Corredor gets a 37. Mike Simpson gets a 25. So yeah, fun stuff. And then post-match, we have the New Giants, which I'll go over in a second here. But then some interesting disco music hits, and out comes Ernest Miller first, and then Disco Inferno. So the gimmick we're using here is because Bischoff is Disco's friend, he allowed him to use the gimmick outside of WCW as long as it wasn't with the WWE, as Impact isn't considered actual competition here. So so they come out, and now it's time for the other semifinal match in the Tag Team Tournament as the Dancing Fools make their debut here at Impact Wrestling. And they get squashed by the New Giants, who are Giant Singh and the debuting, Hellraiser, aka The Wall, aka Gigantes. So this gets a 34. Again, not the best matches here. But back and forth match, but basically not quite a comedy match, but more a Dancing Fools try to get some offense. They don't work, and eventually Giant Singh pins Ernest Miller with the brain chop, aka the Ray Khali, and this gets a 34. So Hellraiser gets a 52, Giant Singh gets a 19, Ernest Miller gets a 35, and Disco Inferno gets a 48. Unfortunately, Hellraiser's unfortunate gimmick got an awful, but not at the end of the world. As like I said, this gets a 34. Fun stuff. And then we go backstage, where Paul Levesque is with, of all people, David Flair, who also has his girlfriend George. If you remember, George Scourge was the former valet of Randy Savage / girlfriend until they broke up in real life, but she's still here, so she ended up with David Flair because I don't know. David Flair, I guess, has a good game because he had Cece Keebler and now this woman, at least in this version of reality. But yeah. And so Levesque is with David Flair, and he says, "David, you have something that can't be taught or bought. You have a legacy. A legacy that your father carved in this industry. It's in your blood. It's time you stepped out of the shadows and into the light. I've watched your father's career, David. I've seen the heights he reached, but let's talk about Hogan, the man who's been a thorn in your family's side for decades. The man who in many ways stood in way of your father achieving even greater things." And, then Flair says, "Hogan, he always seemed to be there one step ahead of my dad in WCW. It's like he couldn't stand to see the Flair name in the spotlight." Exactly. But here in Impact Wrestling, you have the opportunity to redefine the Flair legacy. Show Hogan and the world that Flair name still holds power, still commands respect. There's a chance to prove you're not Ric Flair's son. You're David Flair, a force in your own right. And Flair says, "You're right, Levesque. Time for the Flair name to rise again. Hogan's had his era, but this is the beginning of something new. My time, and with George at my side, I can count anyone in this company." And Levesque, smiles almost, devastatingly. "That spirit, David. You have meant to be the cornerstone of Impact Wrestling. With your heritage and your talent, you can lead in this new era. You can make this company your own. And I'll be right there, making sure the world sees what you're truly capable of." And Flair, says, "I won't let you down. I won't let my family down. It's time for the Flair name to be synonymous with the greatness once again." And Hulk Hogan, he doesn't see firsthand what it means to be in the ring with a Flair. And as Flair and George walk off, Levesque, smirks and says, "Remember, David, this is just the beginning. We're going to change the landscape, Impact Wrestling, and it starts with you." So 53, not bad, but, it's David Flair in a promo, so what can you do? But, we're setting things up here. And then we have a four-way match between four of basically our mid-card talent, as it's Apollo, of course, the Puerto Rican powerhouse, originally from WC, Brent Albright, who's still a young guy, Christopher Nowinski, who's still a very young wrestler, and Alistair Anskin, a regen, who's, a middleweight. And this is just a back-and-forth match, putting everybody over, getting their spots, Apollo doing some brawling, Albright hitting some suplexes, Nowinski, outsmarting people, Alexander, doing some decent flying along with his powerhouse stuff. But eventually, Apollo actually gets sent out of the ring, and Albright is able to hit Nowinski with a big backdrop driver German and get the pinfall victory over him right in the middle of the ring. This gets a 31. 10 minutes, Apollo gets a 27, Albright gets a 35, Nowinski gets a 25, Outskin gets a 16. Not the best match, but, there's just a sort of like a highlight match for our rising competitors here in the company. And post-match, Albright celebrates to a 28. So it could be a lot worse. Moving forward, we then have, it's a bikini contest. It is what it is. There's just a spot, get the women on the show, get a little bit over, as it's The Miz, hosting it, because he's still The Miz at this point. A total, I don't think a total joke, but he still has his Miz character. And we have, first Chrissy Hemme, then Sofia Velasquez, who's a regen with honestly a good sex appeal and some wrestling stats, Terry Reynolds, Trinity, and then finally, making her debut, Dawn Marie. So yeah, they do their bikini stuff, crowd cheers, and this gets a 26. And eventually what happens is Sofia Velasquez and Trinity start pushing each other, and a match starts. This gets a 26, unfortunately. Let me see. Is there anything else? Okay, locker room morale stuff, which I'm going to have to go back and fix. There should have been a boost because Levesque came in, but I'll see what's going on there. Anyway, this gets a 26, and then the actual match gets a 19. Okay, whatever. Fun stuff, 25-32, they have great chemistry, only a 19 because they don't want to see women, which I forgot to change. Not the end of the world, but it is what it is, But she gets a big one here, and yeah. And then we have our finals of the Impact World Tag Team Championship match, as it's the Kronik taking on the New Giants of Hell Raiser and Giant Singh. And yeah, this is another 5-minute just wild brawl. Everybody, the four big men all hitting each other with big moves, but eventually Kronik hits their double team choke slam on Hellraiser, and Brian Adams gets the pinfall over Gigantes, the 1-2-3, and they win the World Tag Team Championships here. Clark gets a 53, Adams gets a 44, Hellraiser gets a 48, and Giant Singh gets a 16. 39 overall, but yeah, not bad, as Kronik win the tag titles, but as they're holding them up, out of nowhere, in comes Nigel's monsters of Ein, Harrison, and Heydrich attacking Kronik, beating him down as, Majai directs traffic. This gets a 42, and it seems like they might have their first challengers. We'll see what the EI does with it, but yeah. Then, moving forward, we have, honestly, our best match was probably going to be our best match of the show, as it's a four-way match for the X title, as Jason Vex, aka Jason Cross, defends against Amazing Red, who you know, Francie Kazarian, who you know, and Derek Sparrow, who's a really good aerial regen. And, this match is just a complete, back and forth, everybody going after each other. And then eventually, what's the word I'm looking for here? Sparrow gets his big aerial moves. Frankie Kazarian gets some, good high spots. Kazarian gets something, gets some big dives. But eventually, of all people, Jay Lethal comes out with his manager, Miss Jackson, aka Miss Jones, and then he comes in and actually distracts Amazing Red just long enough for Jason Fix to nail him with his finisher in a little over 15 minutes after lots of high spots and, near falls. And Jason Fix defends his X title. This gets a 53. Fix gets a 64. Amazing Red gets a 36. Kazarian gets a 40. And Derek Sparrow gets a 27. Good stuff here. And then post-match, as Vex is celebrating, Jay Lethal comes in and attacks Vex, mixed pop because they're both heels, as Miss Jackson takes the mic and says, "I don't care whether you like us or not, my man, Jay Lethal, is going to become the next X Division champion, no matter who stands in his way." Lethal says, "Vex, I'm coming for you, and we'll take that title from you." 35, not the worst promo, but, not the best either, but building things up here. And then we have something interesting here, as, both Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell come down to the ring. Luger says, "Look, Bagwell, I know you're given this title shot by Impact Management, but we're totally buffed. We can stand together, man. Just lay down, and we can rise and be the most dominant force in this company. You and me, the two biggest stars in this company, can take anybody down if we want. Hogan, even Levesque, because he can't stand against our greatness, because we're totally buffed. I'm totally packaged, and you're totally buff." But Bagwell looks around and then punches Luger's lights out, and the match is on. So yeah, let's get the 50, and okay, it's not the end of the world here. This actually is not as bad as I thought it would be. It's Lex Luger in 2006 and Buff Bagwell in 2006. It is what it is. Very simple match, but in the end, Luger is able to cheat, wallop him with the, either the, titanium elbow or a belt shot, and he's able to retain the title here and make defense number 4 of his Impact World Championship. This gets a 44, Bagwell gets a 41, Luger gets a 37. It is what it is. But yeah, not the end of the world here, but Luger gets another one. I thought about giving Bagwell the title, but I figured he'd just lose it back to Luger, or something like that. And then Luger celebrates to a 57. First, then, up next, we have Paul Levesque coming out with David Flair and George. This gets a 68. And then, of course, we have Hulk Hogan coming down with Marcus Deltec. That gets a 78. And then we have the actual match. So I'm going to guess, Levesque's doing well, Flair's not. I'm going to guess 55. Oh, wow. Okay. It turns out Paul Levesque, good at this wrestling thing. So yeah, this is a complete and total carry job. Jesus Christ. Hogan did worse than Deltec and almost as bad as David Flair. So yeah, this is just a complete, not really masterpiece, but just a complete carry job by Levesque, as he's basically directing traffic, almost like yelling out the spots for Flair and Deltec when they're in the ring together. Him and Hogan have a couple quick spots, but they're basically not in the ring together for anything else you're trying to sell, because we're trying to sell that singles match, brother. But eventually, things break down, and Levesque grabs Deltec, hits him with the Ace Crusher, aka that. I know it's not actually the pedigree, but I'm going to say that's the pedigree. That's the name for it, because he's the ace of Impact Wrestling, and drops Deltec with it and gets the pinfall victory here in his first night in Impact Wrestling. This gets a 71, Flair gets a 45, Levesque gets an 86, Deltec gets a 51, and Hulk Hogan gets a 47. And then, as Levesque is celebrating, Hogan stands up to him, eyes are, locking eyes, and a heated stare down, and it looks like there's going to be about a brawl. But then all of a sudden, David Flair attacks, and then coming out of the, coming down the ramp is Apollo, Chris Nosky, and Frankie Kazarian, and they blindside Deltec and start beating down Hogan. And, then Amazing Red, the other Hulkamaniac, tries to make the save, but he gets beat down as well. Levesque watches on, with a big smug smile on his face, and then he picks up the microphone and says this. "Look at this, Impact Wrestling. This is the beginning of a true revolution. A revolution of talent, skill, and a vision for the future. Not a ragtag collection of cast-offs and ego-driven hangers-on. You see, Hogan, your era is over. It's about nostalgia or living in the past. It's about moving forward with wrestlers who can embody what this sport should be. Athletes like Apollo, Nosky, Kazarian, and of course, David Flair. These men represent the future of Impact Wrestling. They have the talent that deserves the spotlight, not some washboard hazmats who think they still run the show because they can get some decent autographs. Hogan, you've had your time, but it's a new day here in Impact Wrestling. We're the ones who take this company to new heights that's never seen. We're to change the game, to lead a new generation of wrestling superstars. To those who think you'll stand in our way, consider this a warning. We're not here to play by the old rules. We're here to right them. We're the architects of a new era, and nothing is going to stop us. So get ready, Impact Wrestling. Get ready for a revolution led by the best in the business today. And whether you love us or hate us, you're going to respect us because we're the future, and the future is now." Obviously, only rated for Levesque here, 79. Overall, I'm going to guess 69. Not bad. Okay, I can't give myself because I'm playing Levesque here, so let's give Hulk Hogan. Though they're awesome. Let's see, who else? Jason Vex, you're our actual best wrestler. And honestly, David Flair, you didn't do terrible, despite being not the guy. So I'll be back in just a second, going over the roster more for Philly. more completely and, you know, what's going on here with the company. So first bit of news here is we got a 41,000 basically viewers. Let's see here, anything? Okay, I'm just sorry. I was just like, anyway. So, so first let me just look at the backstage here, see if there's anything like realistic I can fix real quick. Oh, 53. Okay. Oh, right, because of the okay. Right. I forgot because of all this. There's some incidents pre-match like completely forgot about. Honestly, like, okay, that's not good. Actually, change it. I thought maybe not. Maybe there we go. That's cheap and can. Okay, I mean that gets up to 55. Like, but like Impact is not going to pay for transport or hotels. Like, you know. Unfortunately, it's just going to have to be how the company is, unfortunately. But yeah, as a quick little check here. So creative, like, yeah, the only franchise players are Levesque and Hogan, which makes sense. Next big things, none. Hot prospects, The Miz, Nick Nemeth, Jay Lethal, Marcus Meltek, and Brett Albright. Again, makes sense. Hogan, Levesque, Percy Pringle, Bagwell, Luger. Again, not great here, folks. Levesque, Disco, Jason Vex, Bagwell, Kozina. And then who's hot is Hogan, Shiver, Luger, Kozina, Hell Raiser. Who's not is Jason Vex and Bagwell. So there we go. And I just want to double check what happened here. As far as the tag titles, yeah. Oh, sorry, that's the tag champion. So yeah. Oh, Steiner and Animal had the titles, but then WWE signed Steiner. Okay, that's what happened. All right. So yeah, let's just look at the roster and see if there's been any big changes in overness. Probably not, but I'm just interested here because, you know, I'm like that. So let's start out with Perception, Major Stars. Obviously, just Hogan and Levesque. So Hogan comes in here. Okay, I mean, he's dropped a point, but that's not the end of the world. Like, you know, hopefully he'll get a little better. Levesque comes in here with a 92. Like, that's just funny. Like, legitimately. Like, the game will probably not have him drop once, which makes sense, but also is funny. Okay, so stars, we got Hellraiser, who came in with a 60, and he, yeah, lost a point probably because he did a job in the finals there. Let's see here. Tony Kozina comes in as like our star. The game might have him with the X title pretty immediately. Amazing what happens when you have like a couple matches in WCW with us, and everybody else is, you know, basically not really. Is either managers, announcers, all that fun stuff. Well knowns. Let's see here. Brian Adams. Okay, so Brian Adams came in with a dropped a little bit, but still like not the worst. Let's see here. Bagwell turning face. Okay. About the same. Let's see. Marcus Beltek. Did you get a boost for being in a main event with Hogan and Triple H? Yeah. Okay. So you got a little bit of a boost there. We'll see if the game does anything with it. And Shiver, who yes is Glacier, and yes I made that name for him. He did okay. I guess he was on TV, so that was it. And let's see here. Apollo. Let's see. Did you get anything from being part of a big? Okay. A point, which isn't terrible. Again, David Flair, did you get anything from being part of a big angle here? Actually, a couple points. So again, not bad. Let's see here. And then we'll go to our importance and see if anything popped up as far as that goes. I'm going to guess probably not. Okay, so Amazing Red. Okay, a couple points just basically being part of the main angle. Let's see here. Brent Albright, did you get any big points for getting the win here? A couple. Not bad. Let's see here. Again, Nowinski gaining. Okay, he gained like a point for top of the ending angle there. Let's see here. Giant Singh. Cali Baby, are you doing anything? No, you're sort of stuck at 15. Probably for reasons. Jay Lethal, did you get any points for doing that post angle stuff? Nope, not really, which I sort of expected. Let's see here. Nick Nemeth came here and gained a point in some places, so that's good. Sophia Villequez, who's sort of like a good region woman, gained another couple points. She'll probably not be used again. Let's see here. Trinity. She lost a couple points again. And then The Miz, like, yeah. He's The Miz. One thing I am going to do real quick is, let's see here, product, small division. Okay, so we'll see what the game does with that. Let me see. Trinity. Works heel, can be wrestler or manager. Sophia, let me see, let's do females. And, okay, who's like a, oops, let me turn off the, I think rationally who the game would want. Like, okay, so I would say Terry Reynolds, let's talk to her. Okay, so she's a wrestler. And the other person I would say would work here is, yeah. Talk to her. Oh, she's a total non-wrestler. Didn't realize that. Hold on. Let me talk. Okay. That's interesting. That non-wrestler, wrestler. Okay. So we'll see if the game like signs anybody else here. But yeah, that's about it for that. And yeah, so next up is the stables. So we're adding this stable, and actually thought of the name after I realized what I had used as a thing in the. So we have the architects, which I'm sure I'll be able to find. Oops, and hold on. There we go. So we have Paul Levesque as our leader. And we have David Flair as a member. We'll hold him as the heir, not that it really matters, as he'd eventually be turned heel on. Apollo. Christopher Nowinski. And Frankie Kazarian. So there you go. Again, titles. Impact World Champion is Lex Luger. He's held it and had a couple, he's done it against Militech, Shiver, Militech, Hogan, Buff Bagwell, and Bagwell again. So there you go. Impact X Champion is Jason Vex. He won from Marty Jannetty back in August. No, he won in September. Hasn't defended since then. I don't know why. Maybe I'll edit the title real quick. Let me see here. Let's try youngsters. Maybe that'll affect the, maybe there's not enough high flyers. Let me just see here. How old is Jason Cross? Because I don't want him to like immediately lose it or anything. Oops, come on, Ian. Come on, you can do it. I have faith in you. Because if he's like 30, he's only 25, so that should be fine. So yeah, your World Tag Teams, of course, were Rick and Animal, but then they vacated in October. They haven't changed the title since then, and the new champions are Kronik, and so there you go. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm tempted to put Paul like as a figurehead, but obviously he's not a face, so that wouldn't work. It's hilarious Tony Kozina is an option here. But yeah, like sort of we'll just see how the game goes from here. They're still doing merch, Rising in merch. Size-wise, they're slowly they've been consistent since the fall. We'll see if they get a little better. This last show was their best show by 10 points. So just Levesque being there is 10 points. But yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like. Comment below. If you're enjoying these little like side tracks into other companies' business. And of course, subscribe to our channel for following TEW 2020 content and hopefully some other stuff that might pop up soon. But that's it for now, so talk later, and adios. Have a good one.